Imagine building a custom web tool, a fully functional piece of software from scratch, and you don't write a single line of code.
Which sounds completely impossible for most people, right?
Right. It's just you acting as a high-level manager, and you're directing a super smart AI. Welcome to today's deep dive. We are exploring a comprehensive guide on mastering Claude Code.
Specifically, we're focusing on Lesson 8 from the source material.
And our mission here is to extract the exact mechanics of how you set up, guide, and crucially, control this powerful AI coding agent.
Because the stakes for getting this right are surprisingly high. You know, most non-developers avoid coding agents because they assume they lack the technical skills.
Yeah, they hear coding agent and a picture like a screen full of scrolling green text.
Exactly, some matrix-style interface. But the real skill here isn't writing perfect code. It's learning how to control the AI inside a safe workspace so it doesn't turn your project into an absolute crime scene.
Just broken files and error messages everywhere.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because before we can build anything or even talk about the setup, we really need to understand why this tool is fundamentally different from the standard ChatGPT interface.
Right, the one you might be using every single day.
Yeah. I mean, how is Claude Code structurally different?
Well, it comes down to where the AI actually lives. When you use a normal web-based AI, you are in a purely conversational environment.
You're just chatting in a browser.
Exactly. You ask for a piece of code, the AI gives you a block of text, and then the transaction is basically over.
And then it's on you.
Entirely on you. It's on you to copy that text, figure out what file it belongs in, paste it, save it, test it.
And when it inevitably throws an error,
You have to try and explain to the AI what went wrong. It's exhausting. It causes this copy-paste fatigue very quickly. But Claude Code completely bypasses that bottleneck.
because it operates directly inside your computer's terminal. Yes. It is not sitting in a separate browser window politely offering suggestions. It actually lives inside your project folder.
So it has hands on your keyboard, essentially.
Exactly. It can inspect files, create brand new ones, run terminal commands, install packages, and check for errors entirely on its own.
I look at it like this. Using standard AI chat is like asking a master chef for a recipe so you can go home and cook it yourself.
You still have to do all the heavy lifting.
Right. You do the tedious chopping, the measuring, the temperature control. But using Claude Code is like bringing a highly skilled sous chef directly into your kitchen.
And just letting them do it.
Yeah. You tell them what dish you want, and they literally chop the vegetables and turn on the stove while you just supervise.
What's fascinating here is how that shifts the user's role. The trap so many beginners fall into is trying to get the AI to write more code faster.
They think the goal is speed.
Right, but the actual upgrade is learning how to guide it through a clear build, review, and improve loop.
Because if you let that sous chef run wild in your kitchen without clear instructions,
They are going to use every pot you own, burn the garlic, and leave you with a massive mess to clean up.
which happens all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just open the tool and type a vague prompt like, hey, build me a website.
Oh, yeah, the AI has way too much room to guess. It might decide you need a massive scalable architecture. It might try to build a tiny software company with 17 features nobody even asked for.
Right. So the relevance to you, the listener, is that you genuinely do not need to be a developer to use this.
You just need to know how to describe what you want and limit the task.
So because this digital sous chef can actually modify our kitchen, we need to talk about how to prepare a safe workspace before we hand over any knives.
The setup process.
Exactly. The setup is basically about creating a highly controlled sandbox. And the source walks through a few required things. First, you need a Claude account.
The $20 a month Claude Pro plan is plenty just for learning,
Right. And you also need VS Code.
which is Microsoft's free code editor.
And then potentially Node.js, which usually trips people up because it sounds highly technical.
It sounds incredibly intimidating if you don't code.
But if we break it down, Node.js and its companion tool, NPM, essentially just act like an app store for developers.
That's a great way to frame it.
Yeah, if a programmer wants to add a calendar to their app, they don't write the code for leap years from scratch. They use NPM to download a pre-built calendar module.
So installing Node.js simply gives your AI the ability to shop in that app store.
Exactly. But the source emphasizes that the most critical step in this entire setup process, the thing that keeps you safe, is starting with a completely empty demo folder.
For this lesson, they named it Lesson 8 Newsletter Site.
Okay, but wait, I have to push back on this a little bit.
Sure.
If the AI is so incredibly smart. Why do we need an empty folder? Why can't I just point it at an existing stuffing folder and tell it to organize things?
That is the instinct everyone has. But you have to look at how the AI actually processes information. When you launch Claude Code, it tries to read the entire directory structure to build context.
It gets overwhelmed.
Well, if you throw it into a folder with 200 poorly named files and random images, you are flooding its brain with noise. Starting empty teaches Claude to look before acting.
It's forced to survey the land, and there's nothing there to confuse it.
And furthermore, it allows you, the listener, to easily spot exactly what the AI creates. It guarantees total visibility.
Which brings us to a really critical step.
Yeah.
Once you're in that empty folder, you use the /init command to create a file called claude-md.
Which acts as a standing brief or rule book for the AI.
It's like a persistent system prompt, right?
Exactly. Without it, you'd have to remind the AI of your rules in every single message. But for this project, the rules explicitly say only HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
No backend, no external APIs.
No paid services. You are managing the complexity before it even has a chance to generate.
So the sandbox is secure, the rules are set. Now it's time to see how we actually instruct the AI to build something tangible without losing control.
We move from theory into application.
Right. The project from the source is a newsletter landing page for an AI education brand. It needs a hero section, 3 sample topics, 3 benefits, and an email sign-up form.
But since we banned the AI from using a backend, how does that form actually work?
Well, it saves to local storage in the browser, so it works mechanically without a server. And we're demanding that the AI build this entire thing using exactly 3 files.
Just index.html, style.css, and script.js.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Even with all those rules in place, before letting Claude write anything, you run /plan.
Or you can just put show me your plan in the prompt.
Right. You force it into plan mode.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this is really about project management. You must read the plan before approving implementation.
Because large language models just predict the next logical word.
Right. Exactly. If you let it start writing code immediately, it might write itself into a corner and then try to invent a complex framework to get out of it.
Like trying to add a database.
Yes. So if the AI suggests adding a database or a deployment setup in its plan, you stop it right there.
You literally tell it, no, keep the first version smaller.
Keeping it small and verifying the plan is the ultimate safety net against scope creep.
Okay, so after Claude builds that first version, you might be tempted to just say, great, now make it look cooler.
Which is incredibly dangerous.
Right, the source explicitly warns against that. We need to look at how to properly review the work using our tools.
Opening a developer tool like VS Code can induce a lot of anxiety, but you only need a few parts of it.
Let's walk through that visual UI from the text. On the far left, you use the VS Code File Explorer.
Which is literally just a list of what's inside your folder. You just verify that only the 3 requested files were made.
Nothing extra. Then in the middle, the editor area. This is where you peek at the code.
And you don't need to understand every line.
Right. You're just checking if style.sheets is handling the design and script.js handles the form.
You're just verifying the structure.
And finally, at the bottom, the integrated terminal. That's where you actually talk to Claude. But I want to talk about source control, or Git, which is also built in.
Oh, this is a lifesaver.
I compare Git to like an undo button on steroids or a save point in a video game.
Before you ask Claude to make any changes, you check source control to see exactly what files it touched.
It's basically an accountant's ledger for your project.
That's the perfect analogy. And this points to a really common trap. If the website is broken, don't just type fix the website.
Because that gives the AI permission to rewrite everything.
Exactly. It might decide the best fix is to delete all your CSS and start over from scratch. Suddenly you have a complex layout you don't understand.
So your prompts have to be surgical. You have to be specific, like make the headline more specific or improve the spacing.
Yes, isolate the task. Then you save a Git checkpoint.
This loop build, review, improve, review. Again, I mean, it might feel slow at first.
You can feel like you're babysitting the software.
Yeah, but it actually saves you massive amounts of time by catching scope creep early.
Reverting a bad CSS change takes seconds. Untangling a bloated project where the AI added a database takes days.
So, to recap the core takeaways for you, the listener, you hold the reins.
You absolutely do.
By setting up a safe VS Code folder, using a Claude.md rule file,
Right.
insisting on seeing a slash plan first, and reviewing the source control diffs.
You can harness Claude Code to build real functioning tools without knowing syntax.
So what does this all mean? It means the barrier to creating custom software just dropped to zero, as long as you have good management skills.
This raises an important question, though.
What's here?
Well, if the actual writing of code is now fully automated and the only human requirement is setting boundaries and reviewing outputs,
Yeah.
how long until we stop teaching traditional programming syntax in schools altogether? Right. What if we completely replace it and instead teach AI project scoping as the primary computer science skill?
It really makes you wonder. Being a great developer is no longer about how fast you can type the code. It's about being the best possible manager for your digital sous chef. Keep the kitchen organized, check the recipes, and you might just build something amazing.